And welcome to another episode of the Two Fans Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joshua Ament.
And I'm your other co-host, Ari Jesselson.
And today we've got quite the Friday recap. It's our first one of November. So we're recapping on a lot of stuff that happened towards the back end of October. And we have a lot of somber stuff to talk about. Like pretty much any of the first 3-4 stuff that we're going to talk about today honestly probably deserve to be the head story in and of themselves, but like it's just been a very, very rough couple of weeks in the sports world. And that starts, I think, with a lot of news coming out of the Chicago Blackhawks organization, the ongoing, at least finally being brought to a conclusion, scandal involving a player who we now know as Kyle Beach, who was sexually assaulted during the 2010 season. I mean, we now know a lot of the details on it. And what, I mean, this is like, it's hard to talk about, it's hard to hear, and I cannot fault anyone if you just want to skip a couple of minutes and on to something else. But it bears bringing attention to. Is after the incident in which Brad Aldrich assaulted Beach, it was brought up to the front office and a meeting among Al McIsaac, John McDonough, Stan Bowman, Kevin Chevaldioff, and Joel Quenneville, as well as Jay Blanc, all met and agreed to sweep it under the rug for the sake of team morale or whatever excuse they came up with. That 11 years too late, it's being brought to light. And at the very least, discipline does seem to be being brought. Now, Stan Bowman and Al McIsaac, who are still with the Blackhawks, resigned in the wake of this. Joel Quenneville, who's was coaching Florida Panthers, was also fired. The only one, if I'm not mistaken, from that group who is still in an NHL organization is Chevaldioff with the Jets, who even he had met with Bettman. And honestly, I'm not 100% sure that that case is closed just yet, but there's no real note for me to end that on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and this obviously is a trigger warning, so obviously we'll hopefully try to put that in text in the beginning of this, just for people. And there's no easy way of going this, and this is stuff that happens, and this is something we've been talking about for a lot of weeks. And we can talk about the women's USA soccer team, so we always hear the stories. It could happen to men, women, it could happen to anyone at the end of the day. And like we keep saying, it is meant to be talked about because these are issues that happen in not just the sports world, but also the regular world for both men and women. And just burying it and sweeping under the rug is exactly what these guys right here did, and which is why we both believe they should serve the justice of what they did, both if they actually did the thing or if they just try to cover it up and knew about it. And while we don't know exactly how much of it is the truth, we do know that this happened and that their actions should have consequences, that they should be punished for it.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so much more that of what this means for the NHL just as an organization of people, on how the Players Association responded to this, on sort of what we know and don't know about what his teammates in the locker room actually knew as opposed to what was rumored. And just in a larger sense, the NHL and its environment as a whole. Like among later or group myself for a second, just not gaining the amount of traction as this for obvious reasons, but still a problem was something Robin Leonard brought to light over the offseason on how teams often overprescribe drugs to treat injuries, and that is a whole nother problem in and of itself. That I mean, compounded with this, and I mean the fact that I honestly like the one tragedy here is that Beach was a first round pick and that we have like no idea how much this like could have affected the outlook on his career, and that's not even doesn't even crack like top 5 worst parts of this.
Yeah, and really, he doesn't crack down a pen, but that also is a very important and key what if at this point. And there's a lot to the story. And I think if we go through every single thing of the story, it would definitely take us a full episode's worth. And I feel like but I mean, this is something that did happen. It is very tough to talk about. It is very hard to talk about also, but it is a story that happens. And this is just one story that did get out and finally got out in the public. And I do hope for Kyle Breach that he does get the justice that he so deserves.
Absolutely. And I will once again say that although 11 years too late, there is some, if not much, solace to be gained from the NHL taking action where necessary. Again, most of the people in that room who made that decision are no longer with NHL organizations. Of course, I'm sure that this will be a wake-up call for the league, for the Players Association, for everyone involved there. Only 4 more stories with that tone we have to talk about.
I guess where should we go to next?
I mean, it sucks having to go from like one bad story to another, but we really have no
story
choice.
To another bad
like,
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess let's talk about Calvin Ridley, because this is nothing. The concept of what he just did is nothing new. In a way, it's kind of glad that athletes are doing this. For those who don't know, on Tuesday, I'm sorry, on what was it, Sunday or Monday, Calvin Ridley announced that he is going to take a mental health break from the NFL. In a statement he did post on his Instagram, he said, quote, "These past few weeks have been very challenging, and as much as I'd like to be on the field competing with my teammates, I need to step away from football at this time and focus on my mental well-being. This will help me be the best version of myself now and in the future. I want to thank my teammates, the entire Atlanta Falcons organization, our great fans, my family, and my friends and my family for all their support during this time. Calvin Ridley." And I guess we've seen in the Olympics, Naomi Osaka and I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Simone Biles.
Simone Biles. I'm thinking Gabrielle Union. Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka took mental health breaks from sports during the Olympics. And I guess just the way it turns down that yes, these are professional athletes, but they're also still human, and just like you guys at home, they also need to take care of their mental health if needed to. And while it does suck and it does feel weird, it does feel bad that you know that this guy's taking a mental break and needs to be in the right mindset, it's great for him that it's great that he's taking the time off to focus on himself. So at the end of the day, he could try to be the best self that he could be.
I mean, yeah, like I know I've said it before. I'll say it again until it is drilled into everyone's head. It does not matter if you're Calvin Ridley. It does not matter if you're Carey Price, if you're Naomi Osaka, if you're Simone Biles, if you're Kevin Love, if you're whoever. If you need to take a break to focus on your mental health, absolutely do it. No one should be blaming you for that. Nobody should ever be making it hard for you to do that. I mean, I'll say, like, especially like as college students, like, as this is these couple weeks in particular are it's pretty easy to get burnt out. That, like, every single one of us, like, in some form needs to take care of ourselves in that way, make sure we don't completely collapse, and really in this case no different.
I couldn't put it better myself. And just for everyone at home, if you need to take a break, please do so. You deserve it. Your mental well-being is as important as your physical well-being. And I guess for Mr. Calvin Ridley, hopefully he takes as long as he needs, and hopefully whenever that will be, if he ever decides that he wants to step back on, he will be ready to it. And no matter where he is, whether he calls it quits now, whether it be years, whatever, how long it takes, the fans will always, including us, will always be by his side for this.
100%.
And I guess maybe another trigger warning for this story again. We're going to talk about the Henry Ruggs incident. And for those who don't know, it is a very hard story. It's a very gruesome story. It is a very, really, how could you story when you know a lot of the details. But if you don't know, on Monday morning at around 2:30 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, former Raiders receiver Henry Ruggs got into an accident. He got into an accident that left an innocent woman, dead. For those who don't know, Henry Ruggs was drunk driving. His blood alcohol concentration was 0.16, which is double the legal driving limit. And he had in his Corvette his car was going 156 miles per hour, and when the airbags deployed, his car was at 127 miles per hour. He hit the car behind her with the woman, and her car combusted, and she died in the car fire. Henry Ruggs and his passenger, who is his girlfriend, they both suffered injuries. They are non-life-threatening, and they also found a loaded gun in the back of the car. Henry Ruggs is now in court, and at the end, really, an innocent woman is dead. I guess that's just how to put it. And if you know more stuff from Henry Ruggs' story, I know Josh Jacobs, a teammate of him, just got in a drunk driving accident a few months back. And 2 years ago, he had a friend who died of drunk driving accident. So it's kind of more like you should know what you're doing, and you've seen a lot of this influence, so how could you? And yes, he did throw his career away. He threw his football career away, but he did kill an innocent woman who did not deserve to die, especially like that. And hopefully justice will be served for what happens, because really he should get the book thrown at him for what he's done, because there's a lot of things. Like, yeah, if the car just happened to crash, whatever, there's a lot that could happen, but at the end of the day, he did kill an innocent woman, and he shouldn't be punished for that.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it sucks when all you can do is say thoughts and prayers for the victim. But I mean, once again, this is all we can do. And I mean, as for Ruggs, like, yeah, it's what were you thinking? It's like, what was going through your head? Was it a lingering problem? Was it one bad night? I don't know. It's not up to me to speculate or anything. Like, it was a horrible decision resulting in a horrible accident. And of course, there should be punishment. But at the end of the day, I still do hope that he is able at the end of the day to learn his lesson and come out of this a better person.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Looking for me, I'm having more of a what the fuck at the end of the day. Hopefully he does learn from it and becomes a better person, one that life becomes in the tunnel in a way.
All right. Now we can step out of the sad ones and now into a come on.
Not a, yeah. That was the perfect way to say it for the story. And do you want to introduce the story?
All right, I'll introduce it. And honestly, when news first broke of this story, I didn't even think it was going to be all that bad. Because it started with saying Aaron Rodgers was going to miss his game this Sunday against the Chiefs because he's in COVID protocol. And my initial response was oh, that sucks. But on the other hand, let's laugh at the NFL because they try to push so hard a Rodgers versus Mahomes matchup, and 3 years in a row, they can't get it. And that I thought was pretty much going to be end of story. But no, it turns out that Rodgers was in COVID protocol because he wasn't vaccinated, contrary to what many of us believed and what he led us on to believe through his rhetoric, through his not wearing masks after post-game interviews, which if you're not vaccinated, you have to wear a mask per NFL guidelines. And it just leads us to say, like, come on, guys, man. Like, if you're not vaccinated, the very least you could do is just say it and not actually lie to our faces. Like, we shit on Cole Beasley and Kyrie Irving, but at the very least, they're up front with us. They at least say, hey, I'm not vaccinated. I'm following the guidelines. I don't like it, but it's my choice.
And that I completely understand. If you want to do that, cool for you, because you do you, but at least you're going to do your precautions to stay safe. What Aaron Rodgers is doing is neither of those. And you know what Aaron Rodgers reminds me of? You know that cliche in zombie movies of the one dude who hides a zombie bite? That's Aaron Rodgers. That's Aaron Rodgers. You hear? Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Honestly, like, at least Cole Beasley and Kyrie Irving will tell you, like, yeah, I'm bit. And we like that scene in the Walking Dead game by Telltale where you gotta choose to shoot the guy or whatever it was. Spoiler alert for like an 8-year-old game, but like, Aaron Rodgers is the type of dude to hide that shot. And like, here's some COVID guidelines if you're not vaccinated in the NFL. You have traveling on separate flights as the rest of the team, getting tested daily, wearing masks in team facilities during travel and interviews, not leaving the hotel, and not eating meals with teammates. I can guarantee you, Aaron Rodgers has been doing none of that. And he's on the press with his mask off, and there's a lot that he's not doing. It's like, and I know how he said it when people were asked, he's like, I am immunized or whatever. He said that. But like, come on. Because, and I know we talked about this before, but like, you don't know what to expect from Aaron Rodgers when it comes to this stuff. But like, at least be upfront with it, you know?
Yeah. I can't really, like, if there's one word you take away from this, it's come on. Like, there's like none, like, in an ideal world, not a single aspect of this story is true. Like, this is the exact opposite of what anyone should want to do. Not only to not get vaccinated and actively endanger, I mean, your family, your teammates. Which, by the way, I should add that, like, that Rodgers did say that he, like, felt he was allergic to one of the ingredients in some of the vaccines, which does bring up a point that, like, there are people who have like legitimate medical reasons, like not to get vaccinated. Like we know someone like that, and like it's not a statement like on their character for not getting it if like it's not in their best medical interest to. But
At least the person we know is taking protocols with this stuff. And if you don't want to get the shot, that's fine by you. You know, you do you, I do me, but at least be safe with it. At least take the protocols. You know what's going to happen. And if you can't get the shot for medical reasons, don't take the shot. But at least you're safe with it. That's what I'm saying. Come on and just be safe. And I know we talk about a lot of serious stuff, but if you want a good laugh, you can watch the Pat McAfee show featuring Aaron Rodgers that aired today, actually. Because there's a lot of interesting stuff, to say the least.
I mean, I'll be honest, like I haven't had the time to watch it yet, but based on the quotes that I've heard, I feel like I'm just gonna cringe more.
You will. Here's the best part, though. He consulted Joe Rogan as a health source. Yeah,
Okay, that is like the perfect middle ground between laugh and cringe.
it is. It's terrible, but in a good way sometimes, and then just not in a good way. But come on, Rogers, be better. You know what's at stake. You know what you should have done better, and that's just kind of where it falls down to. If you're not gonna get the vaccine, just be safe. Do the protocols, and that's it. If you can't, still take the protocols. Be safe. We're still in a fucking pandemic at this point, you know. And I know I stole your quote because we were just so used to saying that by now. We started
It's fine.
COVID in junior. We started COVID in middle of junior year, and now we're college senior freshman. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And
Yeah.
so technically, we technically got a prediction right.
What was that?
Because we did say 6 games that this team would win, that the World Series would be over in 6 games.
That is true.
That is true. We just didn't say the right team.
You didn't say the right team.
Well, I knew I was going to jinx it. So I played a little devil spy.
I see you. Well, yeah,
No,
if you
go.
haven't heard, baseball is for the time being saved, not because of the CBA, but because the Atlanta Braves won the World Series, and honestly, more importantly for most fans, the Houston Astros didn't. But let's give this Braves team some credit because their run towards the second half of the season was incredible. Their run in the playoffs was incredible. Jorge Soler, my boy, World Series MVP with that 3-run bomb that ended up being the series clincher.
Dude, he was amazing. He deserved that MVP. And just Freddie Freeman, and then maybe his last at bat as a Brave. Well, he should sign with the Braves again. Braves, you know what you gotta do for this man. Home run to steal the game, basically. And another story that like this entire team was incredible. In the middle of July, they had a 3% chance of winning the World Series. And like July 18th, I think the day was. I'm trying to pull it up. They had a 3% chance of winning the World Series. And look where they are now. But like, honestly, this team does deserve it. Like, Freddie Freeman, World Series champion. It just sits right, you know. It's just a great It's just a great feeling. And there was a lot they lost this year. We talked about it before. They lost 3 starters, and they pulled it off.
I mean, yeah, like I can't really think of like a single person on that team who doesn't have a feel good story, who doesn't deserve it. You can talk about Freeman. You can talk about, you can talk about all the deadline acquisitions. You can talk about Adam Duvall returning. You can talk about Soler. Talk about Jock Peterson and Jock Tover and all of that.
Acuna Jr.
And he brought Rizzo's bat to
Pablo
the World
Sandoval.
Series.
Pablo Sandoval, he played 69 games, nice, for the Braves, so he got a World Series ring, and he is the most World Series rings from an active player in the MLB.
Wow.
Panda Sandoval, World Series champion in 2021. And that's a great story that kind of went under the radar for a little bit. It got a little attention, but then it kind of fell off. Ron Washington. He was a he's been in the MLB since he was 22 years old. He is now 69. He's been in the MLB for over 40 years. So from 1970, took a break from 1978 to 80, but then it came back in 81 to 89. He was a shortstop for multiple teams, and then he was a coach. He's now the third base coach of the Atlanta Braves. In almost 50 years in the MLB, he finally got his first World Series. He finally got his first World Series ring.
Good for him, man.
Honestly, almost 50 years in the making, and that's just great to see. And that's why baseball is such a great sport. But
I mean, yeah.
I'm so happy the Astros lost. I'm happy for this team. It's just great.
There is like a part of me nagging at do no, that's for another day. I'll just say, like, congrats. The team deserves it. The city deserves it. Like, you go celebrate this one, and let's hope we can put on a season in 2022. If we can, we still are going to be missing a big piece of the baseball world. That's Buster Posey. Right after the World Series, he announced his retirement from the league. I probably should have put up his accolades, but you're probably pulling them up as we speak right now.
Yes, I am. So, I was very surprised because even this year, he's a seven-time All-Star. He was in the league from 2009 to 2021. He missed 2020 because he was didn't play in the minors because COVID. Didn't play at all. He's a seven-time All-Star. His last All-Star was this year, actually. A Rookie of the Year, MVP, and I guess for his hitting stats we could go by. A batting average of 302, OBP of .372, a slug rating of 460, OPS of 831, and OPS plus of 129. Just great career, and I'm surprised he retired this year. Oh, he's also, three-time World Series, four-time Silver Slug, a Gold Glove, and a batting title. How did I forget those stats also? The greatest catcher of our generation, definitely the greatest catcher of the 2010s. You can make that argument for that. Definitely top two, maybe top 15, top 10 catcher. I say top 10. I'd say top 7 even. Greatest catcher in MLB history. And what a career it's been for him.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever look back at the 2010s decade in baseball without mentioning Buster Posey. I mean, like like you said, like a huge part of that early decade dynasty there with the Giants, like even keeping it through all the way through to this year being an All-Star. It is a little bit surprising, but at the end of the day, like being catcher also like does take a toll on you. I mean, a lot of great catchers do tend to fizzle out towards the back end of their careers. Like, I mean, credit to Posey for staying strong, 12 years in the majors. And we will see you soon enough in Cooperstown.
Honestly, it's only a matter of time. And this off season, I know we're not there yet. Well, technically, we're not at free agency yet, but it's looking to be a good one. I mean, Jock Peterson might make a reunion with the Cubs. He declined his offer with Atlanta after the World Series. Kyle Schwarber is a free agent. Kevin Pillar of the Mets is a free agent. Brett Gardner, Nick Costellos, Andrew McCutchen. We could see a lot of great guys.
No. I'm not gonna let you mispronounce Castellanos.
Castellanos. I'm sorry. How can I forget the goat's name?
I'm already getting my hopes up. I already am saying I'm fantasizing like, how are the cut? Like, does Ricketts want to spend enough to get Rizzo and Baez back, and maybe Bryant doesn't really want to come back, and honestly I don't blame him, but what if we could, and Andrew Chafin, and maybe Kimbrel can revive his career, and if we can get Schwarber and Castellanos back, and that would be so amazing.
Incredible. Hey, you guys did claim Wade Willie though. That's something.
Yeah, honestly, we the pitching, I don't even know if you can call it a core or just Kyle Hendricks lifting up like half of a Zach Davies, but that's pretty much all we got. I mean,
Yeah.
plus a young bullpen core, and Justin Steele, Keegan Thompson, Tommy Nance. Those guys are still there, but that's pretty much it. Like,
Yeah, and the season's very young. There's a lot that's going to happen, and we will keep you updated. And I guess two more stories. Really, if we have more, we'll say them. But he finally escaped. Jack Eichel finally got out of Buffalo.
oh my god, I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot about that. Like with all of the shit that's happened these past couple of weeks, like this also could have been a headline, but like,
It was any other week, but we had a lot this week. But Jack Eichel was traded to the Golden Knights for a 2023 third-round pick from Buffalo in exchange for forward Alex Tuchs, Peter Webb, and along with. I'm sorry. So the Golden Knights got Jack Eichel in a 2023 third-round pick, and the Sabres got forwards Alex Tuch and Pete and Curb, along with a 2021 first-round pick and 2023 third-round pick.
I mean, I'll look at it from the Vegas angle of like this is a team that pretty much from season one has been championship or bust, and they haven't gotten a championship just yet. Like this is just another all-in push on their part. And I mean, like, I'll say it with Vegas, and it's the same situation with them as is with the Avalanche, as is with the Maple Leafs, as is with a couple other teams. Is that we already know they're a strong regular season team. The real showing of how well this trade is going to pay off is going to come in the playoffs. Can they go all the way this year? I am not one to say.
I guess only time will tell, but it does look interesting. And
But hey, at least Jack Eichel's actually going to play some playoff hockey.
Yeah, exactly. At least he's out of Buffalo. He could have gone to Florida, but he's out of Buffalo, so that's a good thing. And week 8 of the NFL, just to brush it up quickly, we had a lot of interesting guys get wins. Cooper Rush, Trevor Siemian, and my man, the GOAT, Mike White.
Thursday Night Football is not kind to Jets quarterbacks. That's all I'll
Hey,
say.
no. We got Josh Johnson returning. What are you talking about?
At the cost of Mike White.
But Josh Johnson, yeah, a soul for a soul, as they say. But Mike White will be back.
Yeah. Now hold on. Mike White beat the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Is he better than Zach Wilson? Or am I just intentionally phrasing this to make it clear that I'm clickbaiting?
I think you're making it clear that you're clickbaiting, but is Mike White better than Joe Burrow? Are the Jets the best team?
Or is the Bengals defense just that bad?
Yeah, I think they just got exposed, honestly. I think that's all it really comes down to.
Bengals are such a weird team.
They are.
Honestly, so are the Saints.
Yeah, but I feel like the Bengals are always like that, though, you know? Like, obviously, their offense is always more powerful than their defense, but, like, who can you name besides, like, Jesse Bates and Trey Hendrickson?
Do they still have Von Bell?
No, I don't think they got Von Bell. Yeah, they got Von Bell.
Huh.
They got Trey Waynes. Got him for a minute. DJ Hill, like it's solid, but they always seem to have the cracks eventually. Like they're kind of like the Raiders. They start off kind of strong and then they kind of just plummet, and we all get sad for them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole lot we probably could talk about with the NFL. One thing I'll actually want to point to is we've gotten a few scoregamis this year so far. For those who don't know, a scoregami is an art unique to football that basically lists each unique final score. So like, for example, like 24-17, 17-14 are some very common ones. A scoregami happens when one of those has happened that's never happened before, and 3 of those have already happened this year. One was the Rams over the Giants, 38-11. Then the very next week, the Cardinals over the Texans, 31-5. And just last night, Thursday Night Football, the Colts came out on top of the Jets, 45-30.
Josh Johnson, baby. And just because I'm a Browns fan and we don't have much good, only 2 times in NFL history has a score 47-42 been up, and both of them have been Browns losses, and they both have been contenders for best game of the seasons. That was the Ravens-Browns game last year, and now the Chargers-Browns game this year, which was good for other reasons and wasn't as good as the Ravens game. But we don't talk about that. We're back. We're almost back to happy sadness.
Yeah. Can I bring up another number concerning the Browns?
Yeah.
13. Because that's a number you will not be seeing on the field anymore.
Yeah.
Now that Odell Beckham Jr. has forced his way out, he's on waivers. I find it very interesting, the timing of this. Like, why do you do it right after the trade deadline? Like, are you just that sadistic? And also, like, no, you're the Browns fan. I'll let you get your.
No, you said you just finished it up first, though.
Yeah, no. I'll just like the only thing I can like say to this is like, really, Odell, who do you think you are? This is a team that made the playoffs in a very tough AFC last year while you were hurt, and now you're back and they lose a couple games and you think you're the shit. Like, come on, my guy. Like,
yeah, and I know the major problem. I know also happy birthday to Odell. You kind of got your birthday wish of being off the Browns team. I know there was things with the Saints, but neither side wanted to give up the package that the other side wanted for it. And yeah, I feel like for the Odell problem, the issue was either 1, we didn't really utilize him, and 2, he really didn't put in the effort. And he is kind of the diva wide receiver that he was projected to, that he was what we saw when he left the Giants. And I know for a lot of people, they didn't see that, including myself for a little bit. I didn't think it was that bad, but now looking at it now, seeing everything that happened from his dad posting stuff about how he's not, I love him in a video of stuff, like how he's not doing stuff, which in retaliation, a lot of people posted videos of Odell like dropping very easy passes. And it was very ugly these past few weeks, really. But Odell, you saw what happened to Antonio Brown when he tried to do this shit. Antonio Brown has a better legacy than you do at the end of the day. Antonio Brown is going to be looked at as the better receiver as of now. And we saw what happened to Antonio Brown when he tried to pull this diva stuff off. And for a while, he wasn't signed for a while. What makes you think the guy who just came off of a serious injury last year and might have an injury again this year pull that kind of stuff? You have to be a team player when it comes to this. You're not the shit. And that's at the end of the day. You haven't proven yourself in a while. Like, I'm not saying this as a salty Browns fan though. I do hope that he does find a team that does know how to utilize him. And I do hope we see Odell work hard again. Because those first few seasons with the Giants, we did see a different Odell than what's been happening these more recent seasons. Where Odell now is kind of just salty and not trying as hard. And I do hope a team finds him, and I do hope they utilize him, and I do hope Odell works hard for it also. And my big thing is we gave him Gabriel Peppers for nothing at the end of the day, but at least the Giants enjoy him. So that's cool.
I mean, you might get a compensatory pick for it. I don't really know how that works, but
neither do I.
Yeah, but there's not really a point to end the episode off on that.
Well, Von Miller also got traded to the Rams.
See, this is how much has gone on
this week, but there's a lot of bad stuff that happened this week also.
Yeah. I don't even know. Like, where can you honestly find a weakness on this Rams team? Like, does it even exist?
Not really. This is a scary team.
Yeah, and I mean, like, this is like we talked about this with Vegas, and like the Rams are pretty much in the same place right now that they like are trading away every single draft pick they can imagine. They're going all in, and they better win it.
That's true. And the thing is also, they don't have a draft pick this year. There's no pick in this year's draft. So they're
I
really
believe
in.
they have like a 5th rounder.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the 5th rounder. So, but at the end of the day, they're still in that we got to win this now phase again, which we saw in 2018. I want to say when they had Weddle and Akeem Talib and they got Ramsey. That was a cool team. And the Super Bowl sucked, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, you know what?
But it was
The
good.
NFC, honestly, this year is so like top heavy. You have right now the Packers, the Cowboys, the Rams, and the Cardinals all have one loss. None of those teams are in control of their own destiny.
Yeah.
Like they could all like any two of them could tie with each other, and then it would all pretty much come down to strength of schedule.
Yeah. Like it's gonna be fun to watch though, and I don't know. I'm just very fun for this. I'm just very excited for this NFC West. It looks very fun. And yeah, it's just gonna be fun. We could really end this episode out there. I have technically 3-ish good no stories. They all kind of involve the Jets though.
Yeah, go for it.
So the first one, as we know, the Seahawks have been without Russell Wilson for these past few weeks and had to start Geno Smith. Geno played the Jaguars and got a win. This is Geno Smith's first win since 2016.
Good for you, Geno.
Good for you, Geno. A better put $1,000 on Mike White to lead the NFL in passing yards in Week 8, and he won $125,000 because he got that correct. Mike White threw for 405 yards. No one else did that. In Mike White's first NFL start, he had 405 yards and 3 touchdowns. In his jersey and game ball were put in Canton in his first start ever after being a journeyman quarterback. That's some good shit.
Some good shit indeed.
Exactly.
I'm going to pounce on the opportunity to end on a good note right then and there. Thank you so much for listening to us and bearing with us. We do this, try to do this every single Monday and Friday. If you have any questions, comments, or something you want us to talk about, you can always leave a comment down below on YouTube or email us at number 2 fanspodcast@gmail.com. Any final thoughts, Ari?
No, I think that's it.
So until next time, we will talk to you then.